There it is.
There it is. I heard it. The mountains are blue. We can get this thing underway. Welcome to another episode of Dirty Mo Dough. I'm your host, Steve Letarte. So let's go back to Nashville. Craziness of Nashville. Once again, another rain delay. 5 overtimes with no food in the booth. What should we cover first? What topic do you think is the most heated topic on mine?
Food.
So we got a rain delay. I'm low maintenance. I said, hey, man, any way we can get a peanut butter sandwich brought up? Peanut butter on bread, man. That's all I'm looking for. Everybody's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Good idea.
That's a fair request.
Fair request, right? Not a new request. This is kind of my go-to sustenance when we have these things get delayed like this. Everybody goes, yeah, sounds great, great, great. Well, oh, high maintenance. Remember last week the AC wouldn't work for Professor. It was too cold. He had to wrap in a blanket. This week he says, and I quote, oh, that sounds great, but I want grape jelly on mine. And I say, if they all come with grape jelly, I'm going to punch the professor right in the nose. Jokingly. 10 minutes later, 8 sandwiches show up, all grape jelly and peanut butter. Every one of them. Professor on. The only chance I had to get a peanut butter sandwich. I had to go back to work for 3 more hours. Now, the fatty in the corner, he felt good about life typing on his computer. Maybe a little sticky finger from the peanut butter and the grape jelly. But he did me dirty. He changed the order for the booth to PB&J and just overrode my peanut butter request.
All I have to say is if you go out to eat and you order your steak well done and somebody else orders theirs medium rare and yours comes out, the person that ordered it medium rare comes out well done, do you yell at the person that ordered theirs well done? Like, I don't know why I'm going to yell that. I ordered mine with jelly. Like, yell at the chef.
So I have a question. Well, hold. My question is this. If I didn't order a peanut butter sandwich, would you have put an order in?
That's not a fair question.
Would you even have the option to put an order in?
That's probably a better way to put it.
The answer is no. So he makes it sound like we were at a steakhouse together, Tampa. Mm. But instead, he was getting on my DoorDash order, then they forgot my DoorDash.
Yeah, that's tough to recover from. That's tough.
But I think you should be thanking the chef because they upgraded it. They put jelly on it. It became a better sandwich.
No,
exactly.
No, they could have just brought a jar of jelly and he could have done it himself. But you can't take the jelly off. It's
no. I'm not saying take it off though. 2 orders, just a peanut butter and jelly is better than a peanut butter sandwich.
No, peanut butter sandwich.
No.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard on this podcast.
Okay. So then let's move it forward. So then, of course, I have to travel with him. So the whole rest of the day, all he did was about his damn peanut butter sandwich, about how.
Oh, wait. I buried the lead. No, wait, I buried the lead. I was a little over the top rude on Saturday, and, I am direct. So he said, you're never nice to me. So on Sunday, I was an angel. Professor, don't lie. How nice was I before you got the wrong sandwiches delivered?
I was worried. He was mad at me. He was so nice to me. All day. And then when those...
See what nice guys get? On the wrong thing on their sandwich.
So the whole flight home complained. Whole time complained. So the next morning he woke up to a nice DoorDash order of peanut butter and bread. Just peanut butter and bread. And so what does he do? But calls me and yells at me for sending a stranger to his house.
Fact.
I will say, Professor, what was the order? Like, how many people had jumped in on this peanut butter order before Professor jumped in on it?
He's the only guy.
No. I want to know the order. So, Steve, you said peanut butter sandwich. How many other people
said, hey, man, make a peanut butter sandwich, and everybody in the booth says, sounds good. Well, I'll take one.
No, they didn't.
Then he goes, no, I want mine with jelly.
That's a bad look if you're the only one and you jumped in. That's a bad look. Like, I want to defend you, Russ, in this one because a PB&J is better, but yeah, you can't do that, man. Like, you're the person that says, like, I don't want to do shots of tequila, and someone else is buying the round. Like, you can't change the order.
I thought it was an
Yeah,
easy
exactly.
request.
He's going to complain about a free drink. That would be Professor. He would complain about a free drink.
That's not.
We're going to put this to bed so we don't waste the whole thing. Talk about the 5 overtimes, Tampa. Like, you know, I love a Tampa sweat bet, but what was 5 overtimes
Well,
like
I
in a
had
sweat
Denny
bet?
to win. It was my only win bet. I didn't really have a good lean either way on Sunday, but I was like, oh, this might work out.
I hope you don't run into Cindric somewhere in Mooresville. You'll
Oh
just
my
dot
God,
his eye.
yeah.
I bet.
Well, it wasn't even that. I wasn't even mad at that because that was like an hour and a half later that he had to finally pit for fuel. But once he came into pit, I was like, this is over. This is done. But it gave my boy Ryan Preece 27-1 top 10 a nice little shot.
You didn't have it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I had it. I had to.
So did
Wow.
Caleb Conradi. All credit goes to y'all. Ryan Preece top 10. He parlayed that with a Noah Gragson top 10 also. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, I just took a shot on a lot of guys top 10s. I didn't get a good feel either way, and it didn't work out. I had a bad week, but the Priest thing kind of makes you feel a little better.
we Hokey George 4 live bet Joey Logano.
Wow.
$3 to win 120 or $4 to win $124.
No way.
Yep.
That's a good bet.
Kevin Lutz also had Priest top 10, and then we had David Light with the Denny Hamlin bet. That's just a tough one, man. Nothing you can do about it. I cashed old John Hunter on Saturday.
There you go.
Took that to the
You were
bank.
stressing. We had what did we have? We had Bubba top 10. We had a Hemrick top 10. We had a Noah top 10. We had a Priest top 10. There were some long shots in the top 10.
How did Professor? 2 laps to go. How did the model look?
Oh, it was pretty good because we had Denny first. We had Larson was third. That's where he was predicted to finish. We also had Chastain was top 10. We had who else was up there? Truex was in the top 10. Then who else? Reddick was up there. Yeah, we would have been in good shape.
How'd we do on the over parlay we were thinking about doing? We only missed on one, right? Wasn't everybody over but one?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know. I had the under on Chastain, so that didn't hit. Harrison hit the under, 29. And then Austin Dillon, over liable. Easiest cash there after that crash.
The Austin Dillon overtime helped you, though.
Yes.
Because I think he was 11th at the...
Yeah. He was running pretty decent, but I mean, once there's a crash, he's right in it. I mean, that's a magnet.
All right, well let's get right into this week then, because we go from Nashville to the streets of Chicago. This was probably the biggest hit of all last year. The SVG win. It was like 100-1.
No. I looked it up today. His pre-qualifying odds, 5,500.
5,500-1.
Pre-qualifying, everything.
Wow.
But I think post it was still 100-1.
It was, yeah.
What?
He opens at...
I think Chop bought a golf course after the SVG hit.
Yeah. The 500 Club should say sponsored by SVG.
I think they should have SVGT markers.
They should give him honorary membership.
I tell you. So here, I want to get in the predictor, but I want to talk about this. I know we're going back to Chicago, but it feels like the first time. Xfinity ran in the rain, didn't even get to halfway. It was a disaster. Cup was a good race, I thought, but then we changed the distance, and it flipped the whole strategy, and it really, I won't say it's an upset because they all had the same opportunity, but it definitely changed the running order. Now, SVG was fast, but I'm not going to take that away. It didn't really matter. He was the only guy passing cars, religiously. But I think last year's results are a little skewed because of the change of distance. So with all that said, Professor, let's have it. Shake this magical ball. Go through your text messages because it's somewhere in there. It's surely not in my email. And see if you can find the predictor.
So we have Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Reddick, Christopher Bell, Buescher, and McDowell. That's your tier one-ish. You know, Buescher and McDowell are towards the bottom, but I think any of those top four could be interchanged there. Then your second tier would be William Byron, Ty Gibbs, SVG, Chastain, and Truex.
All right, so just hold there for a minute because I think SVG is worth the conversation. He's the favorite in Vegas at plus 550. You have him 9th on the predictor. Last year, he ran in a 3rd Trackhouse entry car. This year, he is in a Colleague main car. So, look, last year I was pretty impressed with Colleague. This year, they've fallen a little short for me on execution, mechanically, raw speed. I think the speed's going to kind of take care of itself because listen, SVG is like a world talent. When he gets in, it's, on the road courses, when he gets in the Rolex, when he goes to Bathurst, when he gets in anything that turns both directions, he's like really fast. So I think he'll make up the speed. My concern is, can that 16 team execute? I don't think I know the answer. I think it's almost like a top 2 or bust for this car, right? Like, I think he's going to be so fast he's going to be up there. But if you totally botch the strategy or you have a penalty on pit road or something or mechanical failure, it's going to be an issue. Now, remind everybody, he runs full-time for Colleague on Saturdays in Xfinity. And that's why he's kind of in this car. And he won 2 road course races for them on Saturday. So I don't know I guess that's a long-winded way of saying I don't know what to make of the 550 odds. I really don't.
I feel like he's one of those ones where you're going to have to avoid a lot of bets. It's Vegas covering themselves because people want to have the SVG ticket for him to go back-to-back.
I think that's a great way to put it. I think the popularity, the global popularity. I like your tier 1. How about this? I like that he's not I don't think he's tier 1. Because let's flip it. Elliott, Larson, Reddick, Bell, Buescher, McDowell, they got very little good practice last year. As long as the weather's good, they're going to come in and get 20 minutes. So I think that's fair. I like those tier 1 drivers. So if we take that opinion,
hold on, let's stay with
longest tier 1 odds.
That's my question. Chris Buescher, he's 10th in Vegas. What's the difference there?
It's just not a big name. He's been incredible on road courses.
I'm very high on him this week.
I have to agree with listen, I agree with everything. I agree with what the professor said, which is he's just not a huge name. His numbers at the road courses don't have him as the 10th favorite. They just don't. Give us some history there, Professor. Give me some numbers.
So in the last 13 races, his worst finish on a road course is 11th. He was 3rd at Sonoma earlier this year. He was 2nd at Sonoma 2 years ago. Like, he just runs, and they're not fluke. Like, he led 32 laps in the last road course race.
He was on fire at Indy and came back to running like the top 5 or something that one year.
Yeah.
I like him a lot at 17-1. He's a good little long shot. And top 5. I'd even double down on top 5. Was he plus 220? Yeah. And he's a guy.
I actually like the top 5 better than the win because his numbers at the road courses are really good, but not someone's always just a little better or for some reason. I think you're not wrong of like, hey, 17-1's value, so I think you have to be there. But I do like the top 5 bet even better.
What number, Timms, would you have to see for her to bet a top 10 for Buescher? He's at minus 170 now.
Plus money on a road course, but you're not going to get that with that. I think for me, that it's finding that value at a top 5, and he's finished top 5, 3 of the last 5 races, and they're all his top 10s. So I think there's more value in the top 5 than the top 10, and I'm not paying 170 for it.
So I actually think there's some great top 10 bets this week because I think the predictor is very accurate on what I think everyone's pace is going to be and performance. But we saw with Justin Haley, they kind of got the length of race change picked right on the strategy. And SVG beat him, but he ran great. So my point is, I think what we have to do is talk about guys that are plus money for a top 10 that if they gut the strategy to get up there, could they stay there? Does that make sense, Tampa? Like let's just, okay, if they don't get the strategy right, they're not going to drive there. That's why they're plus money. Let's just be honest. That's the idea. But when you look at them, Some can stay there, and some, I think, make too many mistakes to stay there. That makes sense, Professor?
Yes, I see where you're going. Keep going.
So when I look at that, I'll start at the bottom.
What is the strategy, though? Like, how many stops are we looking?
So our stages are 20, then ends at 45, and then ends at 75 this year, which is what we ended at last year.
Correct. They've actually shortened the race. 100 was a long race. 100 at that place, I'm like, man, I don't know if anybody's going to exist. So you figure they can go like 30-something. There's probably somebody out there that thinks they can do it on one stop. It would be really aggressive, but I think you're going to look at 2 stops, probably an early stop in stage 1. The other question mark is Goodyear brought a tire that they ran at Sonoma on the repave, and at the repave, remember, Kyle Larson ran those guys down. So, your question of strategy, I'll be honest, I don't think I can answer that until I see practice, right? Because if there's 2 seconds of fall off, there's a different strategy than if there's 3/10 of fall off. So we're just going to have to see what practice looks like. So back to the betting, though, right? So Hemrick, 14-1. Balicki, 14-1. Stenhouse, Nemechek, Barry, Burton, Nemechek running both races. Your buddy Dylan, Kaz Gralla, Jones, LaJoy, Hill. Like, I don't think any of those guys could stay in the top 10 if they got there.
No, I don't think so either. I think the first guy you look at is Justin Haley, plus 360. The first guy kind of stops me in my tracks if you start from the bottom.
And I like Haley and Briscoe and Bowman. I think all 3 of them could survive a top 10 run on the right strategy.
Yeah, I'm afraid that was all strategy, though. Like, you look at Haley's last several road course races, best finish since then was 22nd.
Right. They just don't have any raw speed.
Yeah.
There's also he got penalized for. I don't know what he got penalized for last week, but do you think they found his speed?
I think they're definitely going to go a little slower. Well, then, we like Buescher to win. Who else? You like SVG? You're going to have to be on at Tampa? Or are you one of those guys that says, I'm not going to let him go back-to-back and miss it?
I mean, I've already placed that bet. I got a boost, so it's plus 800, which I liked a lot better. But, yeah, which I think if it was 550, I probably wouldn't. I'd wait. But plus 800 with that boost, I'll take that. And if he doesn't win, he doesn't win. But he was so good there. I mean, it's hard not to have that ticket. But it's like Reddick, Bell, Byron, Chase. I don't know how you pick between those guys that could also win too. So I think you kind of wait, see how the race plays out if you want to bet those guys.
All right, so you got to have a little SVG. Let's talk about who else we like. Larson, Bell, Reddick, Elliott, Allmendinger. I'll be honest, I like Allmendinger, but SVG and Allmendinger, if they're in the same equipment, I mean, SVG's beat him in 2 Xfinity races, so I have to give the tip of the hat to SVG.
I would agree. Yeah, I don't even like Allmendinger at 13-1 to be honest with you. I want him closer to 20.
Yeah, I'd take Byron or Truex before I'd take Allmendinger at 13-1. Byron's won 2 of the last 4 road course races, was runner-up in another one, and then had issues at Sonoma where he finished 30th. But you can argue he's been the best road course guy in the last 4 races.
So once again, Elliott, Larson, Reddick, Bell, Buescher, McDowell, Tier 1. Byron, Gibbs, SVG, Chastain, Truex, Tier 2. We didn't get to Tier 3, but it's Hamlin, Tier 3, Kyle Busch, which I think Professor just puts him there now. Daniel Suarez, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric. I'm going to tell you, you have to fight pretty hard to get in Tier 1 or 2. There's some pretty big names in Tier 3.
Yeah. But you look at it like Hamlin has not been a road course guy lately. Neither is your guy Alex Bowman. Logano hasn't been great, and Cindric's not as good as we would have hoped on road courses after his Xfinity prowess on the road courses. So
let's flip it. Let's talk about who we're avoiding.
So
Tier 4, Brad K.
Yeah.
Briscoe, Haley, Gilliland, none of those scare me. Priest.
What about avoid or fade Kyle Busch? He's just snake bitten right now.
So Kyle Busch has been pretty good on road courses lately. And, that team before he got there was really good with Tyler Reddick. So I don't know.
He's actually my long shot for the race.
Avoid
He's actually the guy, my long shot for the race.
is Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
I actually think he'll do well.
I mean, it'd be a long shot. I think his odds at 35, 34 to 1 are fair, but he's my long shot of the race. They're not getting any points. Like, points aren't going to get them there. They're going to have to win a race, and they know it. So I think they're going to start being that way, and I think if you start calling races like that, and this is a race where just like you asked me what the strategy is, I don't know. I'm not sure the garage knows. Maybe Randall Burnett does something different. Who knows? Like, I didn't have rain in a shortened race last year on my bingo card. So what does he do? I don't know. I'm not saying he's my favorite or anything, but Kyle Busch, he's won 19 years in a row. There have been other years where he didn't look this good. You know, by far, this is his statistically worst year. I don't make it sound like he's other years like this, but I'm just not ready to throw the towel in on a 19-year race winner.
Would a top 10 be something then for him?
I don't like him. Well, I don't know.
Plus money
runs
for a
pretty
top
good.
10.
I mean,
Finished fifth there last year.
He's 13 on the predictor. No, you bring up a great point. I thought he was minus money. He's plus 130. I don't hate that.
Yeah, he's 13th on the predictor because of his races lately on ovals, not because of his road course success.
Are you worried, though, or is it not as much because of the road course that he's got a go-for-broke mentality and that could hurt? But is it different on a road course compared to an oval where go-for-broke could be a wreck and you're done?
Listen, I'm just going to be honest. After seeing what these guys did for 5 overtimes at Nashville, I'm not sure that you can make sense of what any of them are going to do in the last 6 laps of this race. I mean, they literally ran each other over left and right. And I don't have a problem with the Larson-Chastain one because those two are racing for the win. But what about the guys back there in 17th? Like, at what point do you just pedal that thing to the finish?
That's what I agree with you. If you're racing for the win, but if it's a overtime restart and you're in 20th, just take your 20th or your 18th or whatever and let's go home.
Look, we buried the news. We got Josh Berry announced in the 21. Carson Hocevar fined 50 G's. I mean, we got a lot came out of old Nashville. Denny telling me there's no rivalry a week ago, and apparently there's a rivalry this week.
I've got 2 questions for you. One is, what do you make of the 50G fine?
Absolutely love it. I love it. You can't turn a guy under yellow. So I don't love when they get involved racing under green because, it's hard. They're racing, and I think they beat and bang, and, yeah, they might wreck each other because they get frustrated. I don't like right rear quarter panel hooks under green, which we've seen guys do. That's ridiculously dangerous. And wrecking a guy under yellow, it's like taking a punch after the bell in a boxing match. Like, come on, man. Like you got it when the bell ends it, when the yellow flag's out. And I like NASCAR's. Here's why I like NASCAR's stance. Because what if there's a safety truck or on pit road? Like, how far are we going to let it go before somebody gets hurt? Like, you can't wreck guys under yellow.
My second question is, with teams worrying about fuel and drivers running out, as a crew chief, is there PTSD when you're seeing that happen?
There's such a smile on my face because I don't have to be making any of those decisions. The only thing that would have made my smile bigger was a peanut butter sandwich.
I like a lot of both top 10s. There's a ton I think you can go take a shot at. Like, where do you start? Allmendinger McDowell plus 165. Truex Buescher plus 185. Buescher McDowell. Byron McDowell. Buescher Allmendinger. Like, all the way to Byron Buescher at plus 230. I think it's a pretty good value there with those two guys.
I like the Buescher McDowell. I love the Truex Buescher. I like the Truex Byron. I like the Byron McDowell. I don't like any of them that involve AJ Allmendinger. I don't. That's crazy to say, though, right? I mean, I hate to be rude, but it's crazy to say. I don't know. I just don't.
If one of them is going to fail, it's probably going to be him in any of those matchups, over Buescher, over Byron. McDowell also kind of scares me just because I feel like he's going for broke every chance he's got. He's not going to take a third-place finish.
Now, you bring up a good point after the move in the wet at New Hampshire.
Because 10th doesn't get him in the playoffs. He knows that.
Let me ask you this, Steve. We didn't talk about this. SVG, yeah, I know he's full-time Xfinity and soon-to-be Cup. But do you think there's a sense of pride? Like McDowell said on Denny's podcast last year that he was kind of embarrassed that he came in and won, and that shouldn't happen. What do you think? Do you think these Cup drivers are going to drive a little differently with him this week?
If they don't, I'm gonna be disappointed to be a 30-year NASCAR veteran. Like you can't wreck the guy. Don't get me wrong, but let's stop conceding. How about some elbows out here, guys? We're gonna have to make this a little bit tougher on the guy. I think, look, he came out of nowhere for all of us. You know, poor Burton had a little issue getting there. Us in the booth, we had a little issue. Like, I'll be honest. I see a lot of one-off entries, and we do our homework. That's not the point. But we don't do I do some homework, but I don't dig in when I see the one-offs. I'm just like, look, we've never had one contend, so I got to tell his story. But there's a difference between telling his story because he's in the race and telling his story because he just did one of the best crossovers for Justin Haley for the win. I'm like, that's a different level of. So I actually think he got the competitors a little. I'm sure, I guarantee there were drivers in the race who didn't even know who was in that car. Right? Until you hear inside, and then you're like, who the hell is that? As he's driving away from you. Right? Like that's okay. That's not a knock on SVG. It's just a knock on NASCAR is hard. Everyone's going to know who's in that car this week, I think is my point, right? He's not going to sneak up on anyone this week. How about let's talk qualifying matchups, because I feel a couple of these are some bad lines.
Let's hear it.
Well, SVG and Reddick. See how when he gets close to the camera, that's how I know he's working.
I'm all in on Reddick. He's been lights out in qualifying. What was the last 14?
He's plus money.
Last 14 races, he is worst. His only one outside the top 5 in qualifying is 8th on a road course.
Plus money. I think you got to take Reddick.
Yeah, am I placing this bet right now? I think.
Once again, I'm not trying to knock on SVG, man, but it's like when you talk about experience, you get put tire air pressure. You don't get to practice that. And he doesn't have to sit on the pole. If SVG starts inside the top 10, mission accomplished. His racecraft is outstanding.
Where did he qualify last year?
He did qualify 3rd.
Dennis James Hamlin was on the pole. I know that. I did do that research so far.
And then he lost it on the turn 1, right?
Yep. Then they raced, and Christopher Bell went right by him.
But that's when Stevie looked at me and went, "Now that guy's for real."
Who's that?
SVG.
Oh, when I said he was for real, I'm going to tell you where I knew he was for real, and it's the pass that didn't count. He passed somebody in the left-hander 6 and was setting up another pass in the right-hander 7. So he was so good, he overtook in 6, still momentumed off 6 to overtake in 7. And I'm like, that's some different level right there. Like that was when I was like, this is really impressive.
Timms, any other matchups catch your eye?
Chastain over Blaney, minus 115. I mean, pick them each way. I mean, jeez.
He's dying. He's loving this pick.
Chastain minus 115. Just because he's like a top 10 guy at road courses, I feel like. And Blaney, very hit or miss to non-existent. I could be wrong, Professor, but.
I would say, that line's pretty close, but I would lean towards Chastain.
I have a real unpopular swinging bet in the finishing positions. I think if you took over on all 5 on here, you win money.
Don't mind that.
Over Bell 7.5, over Reddick 6.5, over Brad K 21.5, over Gibbs 10.5, over Dinger 8.5. A couple of them are going to be wrong. But there's a lot of ways to run outside those numbers. Like, it could be the last lap, could be fuel, could be this. I think Bell's number at 7.5 is a great number. He's probably going to run under. The question is, does he finish there? I think Reddick at 6.5, I think he's going to run right there or just under. Same thing, can he finish there? Brad K, he's just not loved the road courses, so I have him over. I mean, basically, if you look at this, Professor just sent him his spreadsheet.
So, but your one fear has to be, Steve, that the Toyotas just hit it perfectly, right? And that then Bell, Reddick, and Gibbs could hit the under, and now you're losing.
Yeah, I agree. But yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, my fear of every bet is losing.
No, but that's one that would be your concern, right? Or what would be your biggest concern of this bet going bad?
If it's a super clean race with nothing happens, you're going to lose your ass. Because I think Bell, Reddick, and Gibbs are all going to run under their number. I just don't see it being a close race, a super clean race. I think we definitely have a restart in the last 5 or 7 laps. And I think for that case, melee ensues. And when melee ensues, it's going to catch 1 or 2 of your guys.
If you do like Ty Gibbs under, it's 20 cents better than his top 10 number.
Ooh, great call.
I don't think he's going to go under, but if you do like him top 10, take that.
Tampa's over here, man, studying for the SATs. He's looking this thing like he's ready. What about these other props? You can back Kyle Larson to not win the race. Am I reading this right?
Yeah, but you can't parlay that with anything, so
I'd just pay the juice.
Not minus 950?
Yeah. Win a bet, man. Just pay the juice.
That's Steve. I think he's the only one on there that I think does not have a shot to win.
I just don't see how you can, the risk reward is not there.
It's not, but I see what Steve's saying.
If you took minus 950 every race this year, does he win more than 5 races? 4 races. Does he win more than 4 races? That's your break-even point. And he's way more of a favorite on the ovals than he is here.
To bet to make anything worth anything is not there. You're gonna $1,000 to make what?
You'd bet 950 to win 100. Not that I'm really good at these, but I may or may not go down these rabbit holes on the beginning rounds of tennis tournaments. You could probably boost that number down as well. Like if you wanted to use your boost, that would be a good place to use a boost. If you could take your 950 and move it 3 numbers, which is what you said you moved it up, and you can move that down to 650 or 600.
It's pretty good.
6 to 1 that he doesn't win the race, I'll risk it.
He did win the last road course race. Just saying. But,
I agree.
so the chances of him winning 2 in a row, you're saying, are far less.
Just saying. I mean, look. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. There's no such thing as guarantees. If you're looking for a guarantee, don't bet.
Stage 1 in the races plus 220. Stage 2 in races plus 150.
I don't like either of them. I don't know how they're going to call this one. I think there's a real chance that you're going to maybe stage 1 in the race, but for sure not stage 2 in the race.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. Too many agendas.
Anything else or a quick look at Xfinity?
Oh, quick look at Xfinity. SVG won the last 2 Xfinity races. We have Larson, Gibbs, the Dinger, Mayer, Allgaier, Logano in the 15 car. Custer, Creed, Kligerman. Man, it's a stacked field. We're sending a whole bunch of cars home.
Yeah. Suarez is in there.
Last year, you couldn't run this as a Cup driver. They opened that up, and here they came. Now, I think I just don't think there's any way SVG doesn't win this race. I mean, he won the last 2 road course races, and I think this is a street course, which only suits him better.
And these Xfinity guys.
So I'm not saying I'm betting it.
The Xfinity didn't get much.
What's that, buddy?
The Xfinity didn't get much chance to run last year either. So
yeah. I just think, look, I wouldn't bet it at 185, but this is an SVG walkaway. I mean, listen, Larson's going to keep it close, but that guy's fast.
I'm seeing some top 5s are now out. Ty Gibbs minus 170 for a top 5. AJ minus 115. Sam Mayer plus 150 for a top 5.
Mistakes.
I don't hate it. It's a tough field, but I don't hate it.
Joey Logano top 5, 250.
I don't know. His comments on the Dale Jr. download about that car seems like it's an AM Racing entry, like no real help. How much I believe that, I don't know, but I'm nervous about that.
I believe it just because the last minute timing of the news.
Yeah, I'd stay away just because of that. And he could. I think the line. I think he's priced like, I don't know, 18-1 to win is not even that enticing to me.
Any more? Should we move to a little hot dog eating contest?
I'm ready. Let's talk about some dogs.
So, no Joey Chestnut.
Super controversial. I don't like it.
I don't like it, but yeah, they needed to find a way to just, for the sake of the country, figure it out. Give him a waiver. Like, can we not make that happen?
Once again, business has ruined some American traditions. We can't even have the hot dog eating contest anymore. Business had to get involved. Matter of fact, I might not bet on it just in protest of the corrupt business cutting it. I'm for sure not buying a Nathan's hot dog.
So, 2 hours ago, we were talking about it in the office, and I said, I'm not watching it. And I'm not participating in this if they can't figure it out. Then I just decided to look at some betting, and there's actually some enticing bets, and I think I might wager better too.
I would probably bet before I buy a Nathan's hot dog.
So there's this guy named Patrick Bertoletti. In one of the qualifying contests, he ate 45.25 hot dogs. His over-under is 45.5 at minus 125. I'm firing away on that one.
Under. You say under.
No, going over.
Wait. You think his adrenaline's going to find room for 3 more hot dogs?
No. In qualifying, he ate 48.25.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said 42.5.
No, 45 is... I think it's a misnumber.
I love that.
Then there's this Nick Weary. He ate 45 last year. In qualifying, one of his, he had 48. The over-under is at 46.5. You can get plus money on it. And then the one that I think is my favorite, there's Jeffrey Esper and then Mickey Sudo, who is the defending women's champion, combined over 88.5. I think Esper, he's motivated. He came in second last year with 49 hot dogs. I think he's motivated to put up a good number without Joey Chestnut, so it kind of removes some of the asterisks from it. I think he's going to go over 50, and I think Sudo is going to get to 40 easily.
I'm going to have to say this is an impressive amount of research on the hot dog eating contest.
It's the
I don't even know where to go with this.
The legal notepad. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have a few bets.
I'm just gonna go full tail. Just send them out.
I'll send them to you. I'm hoping there. I'm also gonna wait till the morning to see if there's any boost. That's the other thing to remember with a lot of these events, even NASCAR. Some of these boosts that come out day of.
I will say this. No-run first innings have been on fire. I also had dinner with a guy in Nashville, and he likes parlaying home run odds, and he picked like 2 players. I'd never gone down that road before, so he was like a big, I can't remember what he said, maybe Angels fan, and he like picks 2 players, and you get certain odds, and he picks 2 on another team, and he parlays them together.
Timms, did you do the FanDuel Dinger Tuesday?
No, I was dying last night, so I didn't place it. The
Explain
Dinger Tuesday,
it.
Wait a second. Back up. I was dying. What happened?
sweating and sleeping. But Dinger Tuesday is you place a bet on anybody to win or hit a home run, and for every home run hit in the game, you get a $5 bonus bet.
So you let's say you have to put $25 down on Aaron Judge to hit a home run, or pick the player. Let's just say Aaron Judge.
Good one to pick.
If he doesn't hit it, but in the Yankees game, 4 other dudes hit a home run, you're getting $5 bonus bets for each home run hit that's not Aaron Judge.
What if Aaron does hit it, and do you still get the bonus bets?
And he hit one last night. He's got 32. Aaron Judge might just be a full send on Tuesdays. Hit a home run.
Well, that's what I think.
70.
I think you just take.
He's going to hit 70 this year.
Huh?
I mean, he's unstoppable right now.
Well, he looks like he's playing kids wiffle ball when he stands at the plate. Looks like he's playing with a bunch. I mean, so not to derail, but there are certain people, like when Shaq stepped out on the floor, you're like, oh my God. Or remember like Mutombo, right? You were like, oh, my, he's a foot taller than everybody else, right? Well, when Aaron Judge steps out, you're like, man, like where's he play tight end? Like, what? Oh, wrong sport. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He's a machine.
I need to do some research and see about the Rockies and how they are hitting home runs. And then depending on what team they have, because if they're playing at home, that ball's going to sail. Could be a perfect spot.
We got John Deere this week, too, by the way, just in case you were going to go down a little PGA action.
I don't have any right now. I haven't really got hot dog research today, guys.
I got JT posting top 40 and top 20.
That's like the only guy I like.
I like JT posting, man. Great Hickory kid. Just nice kid.
Top 20 and top 40, you said?
All right, we got to get to work, get our bets in. We got PGA John Deere Classic. We got hot dog eating contest under protest with no favorite in the field. We're on the legal pad for that. NASCAR's hitting the streets of Chicago, a couple races on NBC. SVG, big win last year. He's in the race on Saturday along with Kyle Larson.
I got a Copa bet I forgot about. I'm taking Argentina and Colombia in a parlay, minus 109. Argentina's not losing and Colombia's on a heater right now. So, but sorry, keep going.
Man, we went to full degeneracy right here.
Mm-hmm.
We like Home Run Tuesdays. What's it called?
Dinger Tuesday.
Dinger Tuesday. And then we got the Cup race back on the streets, Chicago, Sunday, 4:30 Eastern on NBC. Get all your bets in, all your bets pay off.